In this video, I would like to counter a belief held by Christian culture that free will is the source of evil. I saw it in a popular movie recently, and I've heard others say it, that as long as there's free will in the world, there's going to be evil. And that seems to be the generally accepted explanation of why evil exists. But I would like to counter that biblically, if you don't mind. In the very first part of the Bible, one of the very first stories, Adam and Eve, the very first created human beings, we see that God created them and they had a free will. Each of them had free will. Or, as some would assert, a will is not entirely free because it's affected by many factors, but we all understand the concept. We have a will. And that will served them just fine and dandy for as long as they existed, until what? Until they partook of the knowledge of good and evil, which then corrupted their wills. And then it became a problem. But before that, their will, or their free will, was no problem at all. In the book of James, we see that everything created by God, that's Timothy. In the book of James, it says that, well, let's go back to Timothy. It says that all things are created by God. Let me get my biblical references straight. Let's go back to the book of James. Every good and perfect gift comes from above, from the Father of lights, with whom there is no shadow of shifting. Probably quoting it incorrectly, but you know what I mean. And we know that everything created by God was good. It tells us in that first story. All through the Bible, and just common sense tells us that anything that God creates is beautiful and good. And since God created a will, autonomous beings with a will, we know that it was good, and it is good. So the only point that it got bad was when those wills got corrupted with what? The knowledge of good and evil, which unfortunately the world is still voraciously taking part of. And if we would stop, well, our wills could become pure again. How? By the blood of Christ, as it teaches in Hebrews, which cleanses our consciences, another word for consciousness in Old English. So the blood of Christ can actually cleanse your consciousness of what? Of the knowledge of good and evil. And get it back to its original, pristine state.